up? I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. And that's it. No more of that other intro. It's a new day. It's a new day. Yes, it is. It is the official end of Big Kid with Will Bryant. And from here on out, it will just simply be I'm Will Bryant. I'm drinking. Last week I had that Flying Embers like spicy seltzer stuff. This time it's Flying Embers. Look at how fancy this sounds. Black Lime Juniper. I not gonna lie, I don't even know what a juniper is. So I thought it was a planet, but apparently it's a flavor. Yeah, we're done with Big Kid. Pretty much same energy though that you guys are used to. Gonna keep coming at you every week. It's just I guess I've got a little bit more clarity on what the show is about. You know, me. But yeah, also the kind of processed a weekly audio accounting of the process for all the things that I'm trying to get good at, you know, like DJing, like my newest adventure in comedy. All the while talking about life as a bartender in New York City. I've done it in Queens, done it in Midtown. Now I'm at the world famous Comedy Cellar. Of course, I'll always be open to having my friends on the show, some guests and whatnot. I've already had a couple. And we'll keep it going from there. It's really just gonna be, yeah, like I said before, the Big Kid thing. I thought I was gonna be talking more about like comics and movies and whatnot, and I just didn't want to do that for week in and week out. I did it for a couple of weeks, and you know that was it. I thought I don't know. I like talking about myself a lot more than Tony Stark. God, I was going to start recording this like a half hour ago, but I did the dumbest thing. I hit myself in the fucking mouth with my headset right as I was about to put it on. I got so mad that I like hit my table twice. And then I felt even stupider than I did from just whacking my mouth with the headphones. Like I went like this. And it hit me right in the fucking mouth. Felt so dumb. Then I hit the table and felt more dumb. I had to go downstairs and roll a joint. Go outside and smoke it. Just to not feel so hurt and so dumb. Not proud of that. Why do men why do men have to hit something whenever like we get hurt? Like if we hurt ourselves, suddenly we take it out on the nearest inanimate object. It just happened with me. I whacked myself in the mouth and I punched the table twice, and then I stormed off downstairs to roll a joint. I mean, it's like you stub your toe and you punch the nearest wall. Why? Why do we do that? Like we just avenged our pain. we've avenged ourselves. In the worst way, cuz like I hit myself in the mouth with my headphones and I punch my table. That's like the US government in response to 9/11. It's like, "Oh, some Saudis did this. Let's get Iraq." It's basically what we did. We reacted as if we just stubbed our toe. Uh, God, yeah. I would have started this. I would have been a half hour in at least if I didn't pull some dumbass man shit where I hit myself in the fucking face and then hit a table in response. That's a good start to the new era of this show. Oh my god. Well, all that to say, I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant, and let's get into it. There's really nothing to get into. This is it. This is me. Flaws and all. Stupid flaws and all. What is a juniper though? I see lime here and then something that looks like a blackberry. So I guess a juniper is a type of blackberry. I bet there's like a juniperologist somewhere going crazy right now that I'm even calling a juniper a blackberry. They're not even in the same genus. Can food be in genuses? In geni? Is that just animals? Am I even getting that right? I sound smart, right? I sound smart. I was thinking about this the other day, my intelligence. And I'm looking at myself and I feel like this jersey. I'm wearing my Kobe Bryant jersey. I feel like it's making me look a little heavy here, you know? I'm not feeling my best right now. What is it? What is it about? Is it the way I'm sitting? Or am I just getting fat? I need to buy like a corset, I think. Or maybe I just need a breast reduction right now. Something's going on. I have been dieting again. Cutting out carbs. I forgot what it's like to not be full at all times. So it's been a while. What was I talking about besides being fat and hating myself? Yeah, with me about to go on stage, man, I gotta. It would be ideal to drop a little bit, you know. I'm gonna cut some weight like a UFC fighter. I'm gonna wrap saran wrap around my body and my man boobs. Sweat it out. What was I talking about? Juniper? The juniperologist? Juniperology and being fat. That's essentially what I was talking about, right? This juniper, though, is pretty good. So I was walking to work yesterday. I always I get off at Union Square and I just walk from Union Square to work. It's about maybe a 15, maybe 20-minute walk from Union Square to the West 3rd. To West 3rd, basically. And I like to do that walk instead of transferring at Union Square to another train for like a stop or two. That walk gives me a chance to, you know, maybe hit the joint a little bit. Or, I don't know. I just enjoy the walk. I don't mind Union Square. And I kind of very much enjoy walking through Washington Square Park every day before work. If you don't know, Washington Square Park is that park that has that, like, why do we have that? Like, is it like the French little tower arc thing? What's it called? Somewhere an archaeologist Not an archaeologist. An archaeologist is going crazy right now. Or specifically a French archaeologist. If you studied French archaeology in college, I don't in Arcala College, I don't know what to tell you. French arc, Washington. Is it even French, by the way? It's called the Washington Square Arc. Washington Square Arc, officially the Washington Arc, is a marble memorial arc in Washington Square Park in the Greenwich Village neighborhood of Lower Manhattan, New York City. Designed by architect Stanford White in 1891, commemorates the centennial of George Washington's 1789 inauguration as President of the United States and forms the southern terminus of Fifth Avenue. Why did I think France had anything to do with it? Is it because there's one in France? Isn't there a much more famous arc in France? Is it much more famous? If I type in French arc, does that make sense? Let's see, French arc. What is the arc in France called? Of course, the Arc de Triomphe, Arc de Triomphe. You need tickets to the Arc de Triomphe? It's a fucking arc. Are you serious? You're lying to me, right? Can you go inside the Arc how do you go inside an arc? You just walk through it. You only have to pay if you want to visit the interior of the Arc de Triomphe. Its museum and its terrace. It has a museum and a terrace? Okay. Oh, like you can go in it, like not walk through it, but in it. Between the two columns of the Arc de Triomphe is the tomb of the unknown soldier, with the eternal flame rekindled every evening. Okay, so they make it sound like you can go in, not just walk through it, but in it. I wonder. Interesting. Well, you definitely can't do that at Washington Square Park. I'm sorry, I just went down a little rabbit hole here. I didn't know any of this shit. So, of course, I just look it up live on air. It's a good show. This is what I do. I guess that's why I thought it had something French to do with it, because of l'Arc de Triomphe in France. So, apologies to all the archaeologists out there. I didn't know. Point being, I walked through this park. Washington Square Arc is there every day, whatever. It's got the fountain there. It's got to be probably like the most like hipster bohemian vagabond park in the city. I swear there's just there's people selling shit everywhere. There are people filming content everywhere. There are people just taking selfies everywhere. There'll be random performances and concerts and jam sessions, and there's so much going on in that park. You got the people that the chess savants that play for money at the edge, at the corner with all the chessboards. Those tables with the chessboards like fucking painted and built into them. And yesterday, I'm walking by and I get to this chess area. The chess area of Washington Square Park is the last part of the park that I walked through before exiting the park, and then the cellar is just about a block and a half away from there. And so I get to that area, and I just see a little bit of a commotion, and I realize that it's this argument right on the cusp of a physical altercation. They're about to fight. And if there's something I love to watch, it's a street fight. I love it. I love seeing them. Whether I can, I will fall into the YouTube and Twitter vortex of street fights. I don't know why, but I love them. I don't really go back and watch UFC highlights. I'll go back and watch street fights. Even ones I've seen, I'd be like, oh, this is a good one. I remember this one. This guy. I enjoy, you know what I enjoy? I enjoy when the best street fights for me is when the aggressor doesn't really know how to fight, and the one that is kind of more on his heels defending himself actually knows how to fight, especially if they're like trained in something. Those are the best. When the seemingly underdog knows a little jujitsu or is a wrestler. Oh, I love those shits. Cause seeing somebody act all tough and shit, going into a fight thinking they're about to like rough somebody up, and then being actually like out techniqued, knocked out, put to sleep, whatever. Those make my day. That's not what happened yesterday when I went to work. Not the case at all. Let me paint the scenario here. So I'm walking through the Washington Square Park. Let's try blood orange. I'm talking about next hard seltzer flavor. Apologies for the sniffles. I am still getting over this cold. The best way to do it is with botanicals and bitters by Flying Embers. Blood orange. So, walking through the park, get to the chess area, the chess corner of Washington Square Park. I see a bunch of people staring in a certain direction. I see these two people kind of squaring, not squaring off, but arguing. It's a, they're two black dudes. One of them, I'm going to say in his 50s. He looked decently in shape. I think the older black dude, because the other one, I want to say probably the other one is either like in his 30s or 40s. It looked like the older black dude was one of the chess regulars, if you will. As I fix my mic after I knocked it. It looks like he knew people in the chess community there. Whereas the younger 30 to 40-year-old black dude, by the way, you know how black people age. This could have been an 80-year-old versus a 60-year-old for all I know. They looked 50 and 40, maybe 30. Like mid to late 30s, early 40s. So, of course, he was 72. Either way. The older black dude, he was standing his ground and kind of just challenging the other dude, like, because the other dude was talking shit. Like, he was the aggressor. But he had one of his boys, like, holding him back. And it was one of those situations where, like, hold up, I'm about to sneeze. God damn it. Anyways, his boy was holding him back. And at one point, he got mad at his boy for holding him back. If this was a professional podcast, those sneezes would be edited out. Guess what? Not happening. You want that shit? Go to NPR. They edit everything out. Fucking edit out a motherfucker breathing. This is me. Flaws and all. Take me or leave me. Okay? It's like that song from Rem. That's how the song goes. It's called Achoo, I Have a Cold. No, how's that song go? Take me, leave me. That's probably not it at all. There's a rentologist that's just losing their shit right now. Oh man, I got like a sneeze attack coming. You guys ever get that shit? Oh, also, I've been told I sneeze like a bitch. By my girl, by coworkers, by strangers, by children, by priests, by nuns, by deaf people. Somehow they felt it. I've been told I sneeze like a bitch. I don't like loud sneezing. You know, I don't like the as all of us do. I had an uncle that made it a spectacle every time he snows. I'm trying. Uh, One second. This is great, right? This is great. I have a. That's the thing. I see. I sneeze like a bitch, but I blow my nose like an elephant. That's the weird thing. I don't understand. Maybe I need a sweater or something. Maybe I'm cold like a bitch too. Maybe that's what it is. Everyone says I sneeze like a bitch, but I don't like loud sneezing. Oh man. Maybe it's a mental thing. Like it's just all in my head. And I don't really have to sneeze again. At all. I hold in sneezes too. Because you know what? Like, as a bartender, I feel like one of the worst things you could do. All right. Where was I? As a bartender, one of the worst things you can do is. Oh, wow. This is the worst. I don't think I've ever had a sneeze attack on. I definitely never had a sneeze attack on air. All right. As a bartender, you don't want to have this happen behind the bar, right? And it would be worse if I was like a loud sneezer, a messy sneezer, you know, while I'm shaking cocktails and stirring drinks. So I try to like hold it in. It's partly that and partly loud sneezing uncles from my past that have traumatized me, and I don't want to be that. So I won't. And you guys, now you guys can let me know if all these people in my past have been correct. Do I sneeze like a bitch? I'm not expecting this to come back in my favor. I was just told this yesterday by a coworker. So, not the first time I've heard it, or the second, or the 17th. So, I think I get it. I think I'm seeing a pattern here. Should I get a sweater? I don't want to get a sweater. I'm not even cold. Man, a mother. Don't worry, I didn't forget. I didn't forget. Walking through Washington Square Park. 50-year-old guy and let's say 35-year-old guy. They look like they're squaring up. They look like they're definitely in an argument. Younger dude is being held back by his friend, and he got like mad at his friend for holding him back, you know? But the older dude, he had no one like holding him back. He had no one in his way. He was just standing his ground saying like, yeah, if you want, let's go. Let's go. Stop talking. If you want to do something, let's do something. And it was one of those situations where you ever seen two people act like they want to fight, and then the minute they get within striking distance, like no punches are thrown. It's always like a you swing first competition, and no one swings first. It was that basically. But the thing is, like, the younger dude was the aggressor. The older dude was just not really. He was standing his ground, basically. So, as the aggressor, if you shove your friend away that's holding you back, and then you get within striking distance of the guy, of the other person, and you don't do anything, like, that's already like, okay, you don't really want it. You don't really want it. Because if you're going to act all tough about wanting to get in this fight, right? You shove your friend away and you get right up to the dude that you want to fight, and you don't throw a punch, you don't throw a strike, you don't even shove the dude, then you don't really want it, right? It was all you just puffing your chest, right? And his friend came back and held him back some more. And it looked like a situation where the dude just really wanted to be held back. But here's the crazy part. Here's why I'm even really talking about this at all. Because I stopped to watch this. Like I said, I love a street fight. And I was hoping I saw something. This younger dude, he was wearing like a winter coat, right? And the older dude was just in like a t-shirt. That's how you probably knew already that this older dude was ready to do something. Because it was kind of cold yesterday. He was just chilling in a shirt, ready to go. So the dude had a beanie on. He had like a big winter, like puffy jacket. And this dude at some point, I see him reaching into his jacket. And I'm in, for a brief moment, I'm like, no way. There's no shot this dude's about to pull out a gun from his jacket. There's no shot that I'm about to witness this, right? And you even hear somebody say something like, nah, don't pull out the burner. Like, you don't need that. And I don't know if this older dude saw it clearly or not. But the guy, the younger dude with the coat, reaches into his coat and walks right up to the dude, and he pulls out fucking pepper spray. The young aggressor, the dude that was all up like yelling at the older guy and shoving his friend away to get into this fight, reaches into his coat and pulls out motherfucking pepper spray and sprays it right in the guy's like fucking face and vicinity. You just see that shit start floating up in the air around him. Immediately, I see that go down and I immediately go, wow, that guy's a bitch. Coming from a dude that sneezes like a motherfucking bitch, that makes me an expert in being a bitch. And that guy that looked like he wanted to fight an older dude and then ends up pulling pepper spray from his fucking North Face and spraying it, that guy was a bitch. And here's the crazy part. That old guy got pepper sprayed in the face. Shit floats around all over him. He wipes his face and he's perfectly fine. No sells it. Doesn't bother him at all. And he starts calling this guy a fucking pussy. He's like, you pull out pepper spray, bitch? That shit ain't nothing. I'm here. I don't know if the pepper spray really just didn't fucking affect this guy at all, or if that dude bought like some fake ass pepper spray on that block. He bought it on the Ave. And somebody just put water in it. And this motherfucker just misted him with water. That's what it looked like. Cause this dude looked like, yeah, I'm refreshed now, motherfucker. Let's go. I'm ready. I'm ready. Put up his dukes. Ready for a fight. You did him a favor. You refreshed him. He did not look like his eyes were bothering him at all. In fact, I think the guy had his eyes were dry before, because he had his contacts in for a while, and then this dude pepper sprayed him, and suddenly he's like, yes. You've lubricated my eyes. I'm ready now for battle. You helped him. So this dude pepper sprays him. It does nothing. And then he starts retreating from the argument, from the fight. And I'm like, wow, what a bitch. What a bitch. And suddenly I had this feeling come over me where I was like, man, I want to go fight this guy. There's something about me seeing really bad fighters in a street fight that makes me want to jump in and just fucking take advantage. Like, bye-bye, and run away. That's some bitch shit too. And like I said, it takes a bitch to know a bitch, all right? I know what I'm talking about. I'm a bitchologist here. Bitchology 101. I just proved it with the bitchiest sneeze fest ever recorded on podcast history. What else do you need to know? I'm a bitchologist. The art of being a bitch. So I am the foremost expert in the entire world in this field. There's no one better in the world than I to analyze, describe, and identify a bitch. And that's what I'm here doing. I'm a bitch. I'm Will Bryant. What it is. So as a bitch, I can identify another bitch, and this guy pulling out pepper spray from his coat, spraying it at an older dude, and doing nothing. That's a bitch. There was no fight. That was it. The bitch walked away because he knew, man, he knew. He knew he was being a bitch, man. I think his friend that was holding him back, the moment he pulled that pepper spray shit, his friend was like, oh, man, I don't even think I want to be your friend anymore, bro. Like, I think I saw, not only did I see a bitch moment, I think I saw a friendship end. I really do. I would not want to be friends with someone like that. Bro, I'm thinking about my friends right now. Dave, Keith, James, Cole, Lenny, Teddy. If we're ever chilling and we get into a fight, let me tell you something. I got your back, son. I got your back. That's what I do. I'm a bro. But if at any point in that fight, one of you, any of you, pulls out fucking pepper spray, bro, like, I am turning on you like we were ex-WWE tag team champions and you cost me the titles. I'm turning on, bro. I'm grabbing your head. I'm Marty Jannettying the shit out of you. If you pull out pepper spray, I'm grabbing you and I'm throwing you through the barbershop window myself. I'm going to super kick you with a leather jacket. Okay? I'm going to do it myself. If any of you pull out pepper spray in a fight, man, I'm joining the other team. I'm switching teams mid-fight. They're going to be confused. Like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, that was a bitch move. They're like, you right. Let's go. Let's get him. If we're going to lose a fight, let's lose it honorably. Not because you bought a mist spray that you thought was pepper spray. Imagine it wasn't even pepper spray and this dude just had to, like, his girlfriend sent him out to get hairspray, and on the way back he got in an argument with this chess player. And he's like, you know what? Take this fucking Pantene Pro V. And the guy's like, oh, my hair is weirdly stiff right now, but besides that, I'm perfectly fine. Let's go! Bitch. Right? The funny thing is, if I would have jumped into that fight, I would have been like, oh, my face is so sticky. I don't like this. Washington Square Park. There's a dude that stands at Washington Square Park with a sign that says, make me laugh, get $1,000. And I do not have the balls to ever approach that guy. You kidding me? Like a week ago, I said that ever since I decided to start writing jokes, ever since I decided to actually try to be funny, I've never felt less funny. This motherfucker, I feel like he knew that I was about to start this journey, and he was like, I'm gonna fuck with this guy. Every day this motherfucker goes to work, I'm gonna taunt him with this fucking sign. Hey, asshole, make me laugh. I'll give you $1,000 right now. And I'm too fucking, you know what I am? Too much of a bitch to even try. I'm working at the Comedy Cellar. I'm aspiring to be a comedian. There's somebody offering me $1,000 to make the son of a bitch laugh, and me, I bitch out every single time that I walk through Washington Square Park to go to work. That's like 5 days a week. That's 5 bitch outs a week. I've been a bitch 5 days a week since I got that job in June. It's June, July, August, September, October. We're halfway through November. Not even. I'm an idiot. It's November 8th. So 5, 6 months times 5 each week. 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. That's like 40 bitch moves I've done already, dude. Probably more, right? It'd be 20 a month for like 5 months. That's 100 bitch moves I've pulled. Every day I walk through the park. I've been a bitch over 100 times since I've gotten this job. So don't you ever question my ability, my aptitude in judging bitchness. Bitchologists come to me to fucking check their work. Bitchologists have these theses, right? These thesi. They send it to me, and I look it over, and I'm like, this checks out. This is bitch. You may proceed in your investigations, in your findings, in your experiments. Go on. There are archaeologists out there that study arcs. Me, I I don't even have to study bitches anymore. I just know bitches. And not the fun types of bitches. Not the rappers types of bitches. No, those are the fun bitches. No. I don't know about bitches. I know about being a bitch. Huge difference. Huge difference. Fun fact, being a bitch not good for you if you want to get bitches. Weird. You would think, but no. Next up, from Flying Embers, cranberry pomegranate. There's a cranberry flavored neutral that I despise, but this cranberry pomegranate, not bad. I like. I've never gone up to this guy. I assume that this guy has like just this insane ability to never laugh. Because I've never seen him laugh. I've never seen anyone win. And also, I feel like he doesn't look like he has $1,000. You know? So either it's a scam or this motherfucker's so good at not laughing that he doesn't even need $1,000 to back this claim up. I'm guessing he has some Instagram channel or something. I don't know. I kind of want to ask him, but also I'm absolutely terrified by him. He is, besides my boss, he's the scariest person I know. He's the second scariest person I know. Oh, man. So I had my second class last Sunday, in case you guys are wondering about that. Second class felt good. First class was humbling. I told you guys. I felt pissed that I wasn't a prodigy. I don't understand how I'm not naturally good at this. You mean I got up there and my teacher didn't ask me to finish teaching the class for him? That's bullshit. You mean I wasn't naturally amazing at this already? Fucking bullshit. Well, it's all good. Remember, last week I said how I had added a bunch of stuff to my original joke, and that ended up being everything that my professor Rick Crum, my teacher, I guess, is it too forward of me saying perhaps my mentor early on? We'll see. Everything he told me that I should cut out was everything I added last minute last week. And that I told myself that for my second class that I wouldn't add anything last minute. But of course I did. I was looking over the revisions that I did from the prior week's jokes and looking at new jokes I had written for this class. And I added something last minute to one of the newer jokes. So when I went up on stage to do my revised act, the revisions to my jokes worked. Essentially, I cut out a bunch of just a bunch of fat. I cut the fat. Like I said, I cut out everything I added last minute last week. Just kind of cut the fat there. It worked. I got laughs. And here's the thing, when you're going up there on stage with just your class, there aren't a lot of laughs because we're not. Rick described it in a way that it made sense to us. We're not really listening to laugh. We're listening to learn. We're listening to analyze. And if anything, when we do laugh, I think it's much more earned by the person on stage because we're kind of a tough audience already naturally. It's why I've heard that like open mics generally have the worst crowds because it's just a bunch of comedians or aspiring comedians waiting for their turn to go up on stage. So we're not exactly, or they're not exactly, the demographic there that's coming to laugh. They're coming to work. They're coming to work on themselves, you know? So getting them to laugh has to be a little bit more of a visceral reaction. It has to actually, you know, affect them. It's like, I've heard some comedians say that performing at the Comedy Cellar can sometimes be a little bit of a hack because every single person that is in the audience of the Comedy Cellar, of any one of our stages, 4 stages across 3 venues along 1 city block, everyone that's there wants to be there really fucking bad. I mean, every show is packed. It's fully reserved. It's tough to get in. So everyone wants to be there. Everybody wants to laugh. It's not a fucking like, oh, it's not a crowd that's like, let's see what the fuck this person has. No, it's a crowd that's eager to be there, eager to fucking laugh because they've heard that this is one of the best places to do it. It can be tougher to earn a laugh at other places where the crowd might be a little bit more resistant to the fact that the person on stage is actually any good. That's why like it's tough to get into the cellar, but once you're there, it's a great place to work on your fucking material because you've got people there that want to laugh, and it gets you ready for the type of like life and career that you're gonna have from there on out. It's one thing being an open micer and doing gigs where people, you know, have kind of little respect for what you're doing and the craft you're working on. But once you're at the cellar, it gets you ready to do some theater shows, gets you ready to go on tour. And once you start doing stuff like that, you're working to crowds that are a lot less resistant and much more open to what you have to offer. So that's what the cellar's getting you ready for, kind of. So when we're going up on stage and we're telling jokes to just 10 other students in a class, we're not exactly the audience that's fucking ready to laugh. So when we do laugh, I mean, as I can tell you, as someone that's sat and watched 9 or 10 of my other classmates go up on stage, I don't laugh at everything they say. Sometimes I feel bad, like I should laugh at everything, but then it would be, I don't know if I'd be helping in any way at that point, you know? So when I do laugh, when any of us do laugh, it tells the person on stage pitching these jokes that they're genuinely onto something. If we just laughed at everything just to be polite, we would basically just be letting each and every one of us go up on this showcase on December 10th with weak material. But if we weed out the weak material and keep the shit that actually made each other laugh, then by the end of these 5 weeks, on December 10th, those 5 minutes you see should be pretty solid. So I told you last week when I went up, and I would say things that were intended to garner laughs, and I got nothing but silence. That fucking sucked. That sucked. But if I got like pity laughs, if I got like they're just being nice laughs, and I kept that in my act and actually use that on stage, and it fucking sucks, then that's where I'm really going wrong, and that's where I would really be let down. But that's what this class is kind of about. I have a teacher that's not afraid to say, cut that the fuck out, that sucks, or, you know. I tried to lean out of the camera shot to like blow my nose a little bit, and I realized right at the end that even though I leaned, I was still directly in the camera shot. Stupid idiot. Anyways. I like how direct Rick will be when he just hears something. He's like, we don't need that. Get rid of that. So when I would say things last week, I'm not going to laugh. I got more laughs this week than I did last week. That immediately obviously felt good. Here's the weird thing. The very last thing that I said on stage last week, I was about to not say. But I said, well, I added something last minute, which bit me in the ass last week. But I mean, you know, here it is if you want to hear it. And I said it, and it might have been the biggest laugh I got in this last class. And it kind of fucked with my head a little bit, because the first week that I ever performed any comedy to anybody, every last minute addition that I made to my joke was something that ended up getting 0 laughs and ended up on the cutting room floor. The bitch sneezes are back. But then this week, when I add something last minute in the same scenario, in the same fashion, it ends up being something that works very well. And truthfully, I didn't even think it was that funny of a... Oh my God. And truthfully, I didn't even think it was that funny of a punchline. But it got probably the best laugh. It helped that just earlier that week, I was listening to this podcast where the lead singer of the Struts was talking about how the biggest hit that they've ever had was a song that he thought was never going to work. But he recorded it anyways, and they put it out anyways, and their life has kind of never been the same since. And that's kind of what motivated me to even just say the joke. And I was like, I wrote this last minute. It's probably going to suck anyways, just like my last minute jokes last week. But when I got a laugh, I was like, oh, shit. It was this... it was a great moment of where I learned something. And it helped... I think it helped motivate me for the writing process from here on forth. Where like, if you think you have something but you're not confident about it, maybe you shouldn't let yourself be the ultimate judge of that. Trust yourself enough to say it out loud at least once, if not a couple of times, maybe a couple of different ways. Because truly, like, how often does something that we think is our best work actually get received as our best work? I'm sure that there are... Dude, think of your favorite musical artist right now. and think of your favorite song by that artist. Do you think that that's he or she's own personal favorite song? Do you think that that's when they feel like they were at their best? Chances are no. Think of your favorite actor or actress, if it's even okay to say that anymore. I don't know. They're all actors, right? Think of your favorite movie by that actor. Now think to yourself, do you think that that's that actor's favorite movie that they were in? Probably not, right? They're probably more proud of something else for some other reason. So you never know what you do, what you say, what you record, what you perform in. You never know which one of those is actually going to resonate more with whoever hears it, whoever listens to it, whoever sees it. So I had a real teachable, learnable moment last week where I said something that I had very little confidence in, and it worked out great. I could immediately feel my my process change already in just how I'm going to attack joke writing, essentially, and performance. Something else happened during my time on stage in the last class where I felt a little bit more comfortable, so I feel like I was like emoting a little bit more. And my delivery of certain lines got laughs. I think more so than the actual words that I was delivering. And Rick, my teacher, he pointed out, he said that the emotion that I was showing while delivering a certain point, that was kind of the selling point of my joke. And he talked about how that's a type of comedy, that's a type of comedian, the person that, if anything, it's almost like he thinks that I may be the type of comedian that will have to like kind of drop into character a little bit more to sell a joke. And I knew exactly what he meant right away, because it's something that I thought about for myself without knowing it was a specific type of, I guess, technique. So there are comedians out there that can deliver jokes in a very, almost dry or stoic type of way, where just literally what they're saying and the way that they formulate their jokes is enough to make you laugh. I mean, I think of people like Anthony Jeselnik and Jimmy Carr, a little bit like that. There are people that don't really have to emote much. Like Nate Bargatze, I feel he's someone that can kind of just deliver lines very chill, and it makes you laugh. And if anything, his delivery helps you laugh at it even more. But then there are comedians that, when they're describing a scene to you, their body is getting into the scene, their voice changing with everything. I feel like people like that are someone like a Sebastian Maniscalco comes to mind. To a certain extent, Kevin Hart does that a little bit. I'm not talking about like Gabriel Iglesias, who does a lot of like sound effects, like whatever to describe like anything. I don't know. But just more animated, more painting out a scene with kind of with acting skills. Rick Chrome has said that a huge part of comedy, even on stage, is acting. You're acting up there. You're acting like everything you're saying is something that you're just thinking about in that moment. Some part of the art of comedy is to sound like you're coming off the cuff, but truly actually have worked very hard at everything you're thinking and saying to make it seem like it's casual. You're acting at that point. And a lot of times a comedian has to get into character to do what they do. I remember, I think it was Stone Cold Steve Austin that said that he thinks that the best type of wrestling character is when you take yourself and you just dial it up to 11. To a certain level, I feel like comedy may be the same thing. And if it's not, it doesn't matter to me because I'm taking that from Stone Cold Steve Austin and I'm going to try to implement it in myself. So I let a little bit of that come out this past class and Rick caught it. And he basically said that's probably going to be your thing. Like your key to sell your jokes. Excuse me. All right. I should probably just name this episode God Bless Me. Anyways. He caught what I was doing and he said that's like he saw that it was kind of working, I think, that I was decent at it, and he said you're going to probably have to drop into character more essentially to sell your jokes. If you can sell your exasperation, your confusion, the more you sell it, the more the joke hits, and I understood right away. I feel like I'm gonna have to kind of approach my sets as not just a comedian, but as an actor that's ready to do a scene. I have to get into my character, which is me at 11, and I can't just do that. I'm not always at. I'm never at 11. Like even on the closest thing is me on this show. Me on this podcast. I definitely turned myself up on this podcast, but I think I might have to find a new level. If this is me at 10, I need to find 11. But it felt good to be up there trying these jokes. I knew while I was writing them that the delivery mattered. I knew that. And it felt good. I'm not going to say I nailed the delivery because I didn't, but it felt good to know I was on the right track. Because it got good laughs, it got good feedback, and it opened up a dialogue between a bunch of us on ways to work on it, to go from there. So that was pretty fun. I said it last week. Like I got it immediately. I get why people do this, get addicted to it. I was just listening to this podcast with Andrew Dice Clay on it, and he talks about how he still does it to his day because he still loves it. And it's a simple statement, but it resonated with me because I'm the type of person that my whole life I've just kind of been trying to I'm doing what is it? Another blood orange. My whole life, I feel like I've just been trying to find jobs that make me less sad. I've been trying to find ways to make money that don't break me down emotionally, definitely physically. I've spent my life trying to find the least demoralizing way to make a living. And early on, when I was miserable at like a career, Monday through Friday, benefits, shit like that, I just thought this is it. This is what people, unless you're a movie star or a rapper or whatever, this is what you do. You work a job that you hate to get your PTO, to get your time off, and then you get that and you do it all over again next year, and then hopefully your 401k is decent enough so that when you retire you can do something once a year again. And then I started bartending, and even though the benefits suck, there's none. Even though the hours are terrible, they're the worst. And even though there's basically no time off, you work when everyone else goes on vacation. I started having more fun and enjoying what I did more than I did before. Now, trust me, there are still plenty of times where it feels like a fucking job, and a job that kicks your fucking ass. But I think it helps me that I was miserable doing something before. So when I am in the hard times as a bartender, there's always at least a small part of me that feels, well, I'd rather be doing this than what I was doing before. And that gets me thinking, because this podcast, I'm Will Bryant. It's about, I am, I guess, a successful bartender, but I am a struggling DJ and an aspiring comic. And I have found no success in either one of those two yet. I've gotten paid for one of them, but no success. And I think about, if I ever get to a point where I can pay my bills, pay my rent, and do it by just DJing, or now by doing it through some sort of comedy, yeah, of course there are going to feel times where that shit feels like a goddamn grind, but I'm going to have those moments where I'm like, holy shit, I'm making money like this, and this feels much better than the way I was making money before. So I think that's kind of the path I'm on. I throughout my life, I just want to continually find ways where I can make a living doing things that I enjoy doing more and more and more. And if I love it, and if I have a passion for it, and that's my source of income, that's my source of life, there's a part of me that thinks like that's the goal. Fuck how rich you'll be. That's the goal. If you can at least live the rest of your life doing something you love and having that love pay for the rest of your life, then that's a goal achieved. But then there's that other part of me that says you can't stop there, because you can always do more, and don't strive for just good enough. You know, that whole hustle mentality, that whole fucking get rich mentality, that there's part of that in me too. But I don't want it I don't want it to ruin me. I will, dude, if I get to a point where I can pay my bills and I don't have to bartend anymore and I can do it by other stuff. Shit, I'm not even... Could you imagine if this podcast ever becomes profitable for me? What? If my job could be to just talk to you guys, do this, and then post about it. And then in the meanwhile, I go do open mics and hit some fucking stages. And spinning on the side, that's the goal. That's the goal. You know? And hopefully you guys can be here every step of the way while I get a little bit closer to it every week. And you know what? There's going to be weeks where I slip further and further away from it. And you know what? You guys are going to be there for that too. Hopefully. Hopefully my sneezing doesn't deter you. Hopefully the fact that I'm a bitch and a bitchologist and all that shit doesn't deter you. Hopefully you guys will stick with me. You stick with me and I'll stick with you. We got this, dude. Come on. Going on stage December 10th. After that, gonna be hitting a bunch of stages in New York City. A bunch of open mics. I promise. I will let you guys know about more dates and more performances after my first one. Would love to maybe even put something together where I get a bunch of my people together with maybe some of my friends that are in trying to be comedians as well, or already going around being comedians. I think I've already got a handful of friends that are, whether they be coworkers or people I've met through the cellar, that, you know, I've put together parties before where I had a bunch of DJs put on a show for a couple of hours. I'm thinking I could probably do something like that with a bunch of comedians too. So we'll see. Maybe this summer I'll host my own little comedy show in my own backyard with some DJing too. Have a little crowd of maybe a couple of maybe 30, 40 of us chilling in the back, listening to music, doing some comedy. I don't know. I'm kind of just spitballing here, but it's something I've thought about. All right, man. I guess this has been the first episode of the rebrand. I hope you guys can see the new artwork, the new logo, new name. And the beauty of it is that now the name of my podcast is also the way that you can reach me on every single platform that I am on. So be sure to follow me on all those platforms at I'm Will Bryant. You can follow me on Instagram, TikTok, X, Twitch, Spotify, Threads, YouTube, all of those and more. Once again, 3 words. I'm Will Bryant. Bryant, like Kobe. Thank you guys for listening to episode 40. No more big kid. I'm your host. I'm Will Bryant. Until next time. Love. Peace. Later.